going on, fam? Thank you very much for tuning in. Today, we're going to be discussing how you are making people feel dumb and why the big words you're using related to your industry or your overall lifestyle is making people feel uncomfortable. But before we get into today, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment at the end because it's the biggest compliment you can give to me. And also, if you haven't already, over the course of the next couple of months, I'm already starting a membership site to my blog. So if you want to become a member of my blog, it's absolutely free for instant access. I'm going to allow you to do that. You can make comments and you may have the opportunity to contribute to my blog with your zone of genius in your industry. Something like if you would like to exchange words. And then going from there, make sure you check out my book bundle and professional development bundle. It's absolutely free. They'll be down in the description because in the near future, I will be releasing the paperback. And if you want to have a heads up, then by all means, sign up now. So pushing forward, the real reason why you make people feel dumb and very uncomfortable is because you're using your jargon words, your big boy words, your big girl girls. Big girl girls, your big girl words. When it comes to a student and a professor, imagine when you went to school, I have no idea what professors talk about, and they're going to use certain words that are only related into that industry. For example, I didn't know that when I printed out, and I'm just going to use a real crappy example, when I printed out my book, the actual papers that I printed out of my book, it's called the manuscript. I didn't know this. I just said, no, this is my book. And someone kept on telling me, no, it's a manuscript. No, it's my book. No, it's a manuscript. If it's not published, it's not a book. Prior to it getting published, it's a manuscript. So that made me feel dumb. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, I just feel like a total dumbass. When you're using jargon words, when you're using big girl or big boy words, understand that's only related into the industry that you're in. So that is the work words or the words that you use at work. It's not going to relate to the average person. You know, if I have an engineer and I have a doctor and they use jargon, they're going to be like bulls butting heads. They're like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. You have to turn things into an educational or some sort of storytelling frame that's going to allow someone to relate to you. That's what copywriting is. That's what social storytelling is. That's what it is. How do I relate to someone in terms of a way that I, the dumb person, can understand it? Now, this is not to say that a person is actually dumb. I don't mean that they're retarded. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is you using big words are making them feel dumb and they feel very uncomfortable because every time they get into a conversation with you, they're like, the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck is this shit? You don't want that for your clients, for your spouse, for your kids. You have to treat everybody as if they're a little kid. And I know that sounds so facetious and so patronizing, but and the easiest way I can explain this is yesterday actually, so if today's the 21st of July, I went to a workshop, a business seminar workshop, and the lady sitting next to me is a teacher. And so she asked me, she's like, what do you do? And I say, I'm a consultant for businesses and people who feel like they need life coaching. I don't know why people think I'm a life coach, but apparently the advice I give works. And going from there, I'm explaining to her more about what I do, not my noun. So I didn't lead with, oh, I'm a professional development consultant. That's not going to really mean much to her. What I say, I help people who are trying to start a business get the fundamentals and principles they need set up, and then what's the organizational structure and all that stuff. Or I help people get into a better job, a better career path. Just really depends. Resume writing, performance coaching, that kind of stuff. And so she's like, oh, okay, I see what you mean. Well, I don't know what the guy was talking about of revenue and gross income and net income. And she had no idea what the business words were. And I believe her and her husband were starting a business together. And she had no trademark. She had no operating agreement. She had no actual legal form of the business. They literally just decided to make a name of the business and hand out cards like, hey, we do this business. That's not something you want to do. You want to make sure that you do your thorough research and have adequate business knowledge of, setting up the industry that you're doing with the state and all that stuff. But you also want to make sure you get insurance, because business insurance, if something were to happen and you did roofing, understand that that's going to be liable on you. So going from there, she had no idea what the CPA was talking about. But when she was speaking to me, she's like, I feel more comfortable you explaining me to this because I know what it means. I don't know what those words are. And I tell her, well, in that case, you do need to, before you even start this business. She's like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, we have very little money to work on, and I'm a teacher. And I said, I don't. Okay, then I don't think you should do roofing as your main. I know that's like where the big money is, but if you have no money, then I think you should start small, bottom up, landscaping and plumbing, something that doesn't require that much capital. Because a bank and the credit card companies, they don't care. They want their money back. And if you start with a loan and you realize that your target market and your market's saturated and it's very competitive, you're going to fail within the next year. And also with your husband, if y'all are starting a partnership together and you have no idea what each other's doing, it's going to create a lot of problems. So that's why when I was using the words operating agreement, trademark, business entity, recurring revenue, project service revenue, she had no idea what I was talking about. But it was also, I had a way to frame it into where she understood it after she asked me. She's like, what does that mean? So that is how you make people feel uncomfortable, when you use words that are only related into the industry that you're in. For example, the manuscript is in the writing industry. Adipose, if you're some sort of Scientologist, whatever the heck it is, scientist, adipose is fat tissue. If it doesn't relate to me, well, just tell me it's fat. That's going to make more sense to me. Or fat cells. Posterior and anterior, front and back, as I believe, I think anterior is front, posterior is back, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. If you're in the personal training or physiology or anatomy business side of things, that's going to make sense to you. But if you tell that to one of your clients, you're going to make them feel dumb. You have to relate to the other person. We're going to check the front stance of whatever the fuck it is, or the back stance of whatever it is. And so when it comes to speaking to anybody, you have to speak to them, not necessarily patronizing, but you do have to relate to them on a social level. And I want to show you something that I read. Here it is. So when it comes to learning how to establish your soft skills, how to relate to people, how to communicate with people, I like to say that the engineers, I don't know why it is, engineers are just so introverted, and it's very seldom to have a naturally extroverted engineer. You're going to want to pick up this book, How to Start a Conversation and Make Friends. I love it because it gives me the psychology behind it. And believe it or not, guys, I'm naturally introverted. I can be a chameleon and have my extroverted, but I prefer having my time for myself. I don't like being out in crowds. It freaks me out. So this is by Don Gabbert. It's really good. He's a small talk expert, whatever you want to call it. And it goes into deep depth of, the winning profile and understanding how do you remember names and what's my body language, how should I naturally be able to express myself when I speak to someone. And this is just a really good book to pick it up. So I'm gonna post that link down in the description. It's a really great book, and I'll sometimes, when I get into conversations, or if I need to kind of prep my mind, being naturally introverted, to speak with people, I generally just kind of brief over a few topics with this book. So it's really good to have hands-on. But nonetheless, guys, when you're speaking to people, regardless whoever it is, if it's a stranger on the street, or if it's somebody at a networking event, understand that your jargon words, your big boy words that are related in your workforce, where you work, in your industry, is only going to be specific to that industry. So if you want to build social confidence, if you want to develop your soft skills, you have to know how to relate to people, and you got to stop using those big words, because being nice works, and being able to relate to someone is what's going to allow you to get to the next level of your career. Make sure you like, love, share. It's the biggest compliment you can give to me again. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am now on LinkedIn. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Until next time, stay tuned. Take care.